dovetails is getting everything to line up and come together, especially if you're doing something large like this chest. So we came out with this jig that does all the math for you. The thick side is going to make all your tails. The thin side makes your matching pins. There's only 4 screws to put our jig together, but you need to screw it into a block of wood that's 2 1/4 inches thick. An easy way to do that is take 3 boards that are 3/4 of an inch and glue them together. Now, if your boards are not flat, the jig's not going to work right. So if you don't want to go to trouble of making your own block, we just so happen to have some already made, ready to go. What a coincidence.
Oh, yeah.
Now, we have 2 lines on our jig, both on the top, and if you come up here close, you can see it on the bottom as well. If you want to line up your board just on the inside of that first line, if you get it anywhere close to that line, your boards are going to go together. If you notice these slots, you can see that that template can be moved either way. In our DVD and in our manual, we show you that when you do your first test cut, if your boards are fitting too loose, you're going to tap it on this side. If they fit too tight, you tap it on this side. Once you get the fit you like, that's it. You never have to readjust this jig again. With our jig, you can go from 3/4 inch thick woods all the way down to 1/4 inch. Any size in between, and you will never have to readjust that jig. Set it once, that's it. So enough about bragging, let's show you how it works. Just like the sign behind me says, it's as easy as 1, 2, 3. Step 1 seems to be the hardest for most guys, and here we go with step number 1. Find a clear spot on your workbench. That's usually where one guy says, I'm out. Stand one board up, the next board lays down flat. Take a pencil and draw a line. This is going to be your depth of cut. That's it, guys. Step 1 is done. Step 2, set your jig. Now, we always recommend that you start with your tails first. So here's the tip. You're always going to start with the thickest side first. Now, we call these the quick and easy clamps because that's what they are. They're quick and they're easy. Now what I need to do is center my board. What does that mean, to center your board? I need to put the same amount of wood on both sides. If you expose the ends, in other words, you can see both ends. If you leave it like this, when you get done, it's going to look like one of these 2 boxes. You're going to cut through your tail. If you cover up the ends, when you get done, it's going to look like one of these. So that's what we're working on right now. Now, since I'm not on your side looking at the board, which would be a whole lot easier, I'm just going to guess by using my fingers. And that feels pretty close to me right there. Yeah, it moved a little bit. There we go. Now over here, I cut the board more narrow, and I've turned the jig upside down to show you how it works on the router. Can you all see how I have a little bit of space on this side of the board and I have the same amount of space on the other side? Oh, that's what we call centering your board. You're putting the same amount of wood on both sides. Now the router table is actually a great way to use our system. In fact, it's how I made this chest. You just raise that bit up to that line, turn on your router, and away you go. That bearing is going to keep you perfectly centered no matter what. Now, I don't have a condition where I shake. Unfortunately, my brother has a condition where he's always shaking. As long as you don't lift it off the table, it doesn't matter what you do. That bearing is going to keep you perfectly centered no matter what. So with our system, you can use it either way. Now, as you all can see, I've already lowered my router bit down to that line. Can you all see that? So now we're ready to go. Now, to save you from a little sawdust, I'm going to put up the shield. But if you watch me, once I turn on the router, I don't even need to watch what I'm doing. This jig is so simple, you can do it with your eyes closed. So, ladies and gentlemen, without any further ado, here we go. We're going to cut it left here by a handful. It's one of the strongest people. I don't just tell you I can do that tail. I tell you. If somebody else tells you they can, don't make that little excuse. And I don't know if y'all notice this or not, but I'm cutting through a hardwood. The other guys at the show normally just cut through the softwoods like pine and cedar. Well, even the cheap bits can cut through the softwoods. Now, there's always going to be a little fuzz in the front of the back. That's normal. But how you clean it up makes a world of difference. If you take your sandpaper and you go sideways, you're actually going to score your wood. Score means scratch. When you put a finish on it, every scratch mark is going to show up. But if you want to make something really beautiful, something that you're going to be proud to pass down for generations to come, a real simple tip is when you're cleaning it, always go with the grain. That simple tip can make a world of difference. And I'm going to mark this side so we know what side I just did. And there, my friend, is your perfectly spaced dovetails. Now I have to be honest with you, the tailboard is the easiest. Why? Well, it doesn't matter which way you turn it to do the other side. A tail looks the same either way. But the pin board actually does matter the way you turn it. When you get done with one side and you want to do the other, you're just going to spin it sideways, just like that. Because if you flip it, when you go to put your box together, it's going to look like this. Not that I've ever done that. I told my wife in woodworking there's no such thing as mistakes. Us woodworkers, we call those learning experiences. She laughed. She said, "That's funny, Mike. I thought you said that's what you call it for firewood." She was right. So here we go, ladies and gentlemen. The hardest part is the matching board. Just like the first board, 3 easy steps. Step 1, you're going to take one of your fingers and you're going to line up the edge of your board. If you can do that, you got it made. Now you're going to either use a pencil, a pocket knife, or a scoring tool. And on the inside of 1, 2, 3, or 4, you're going to mark it. Pick a number for me. 2. We're going to mark it inside number 2. Now my eyesight's not as good as it once was, so I'm going to darken that in with a pencil. Now the way the router rotates is clockwise. When it gets to this side, which is my left side, it's going to want to tear out. It's what we call blowout. I found the best way to stop that is a simple piece of masking tape. Now the template is a 1/2 inch thick, so you want to go down almost a 1/2 inch. Isn't it great the little tips you learn at the show? If you enjoy the shows and you like to see the shows continue, I hope you'll support the shows by buying them. Not only do you save money, get to learn lots of neat tips, you keep guys like me working. And after 19 years, going on 20, I'd like to say thank you to all of you that buy the show. So step 1, mark your board. Step 2, set your jig. Now we've turned the jig around to the other side. We'll get our clamps ready, and then we'll do our final adjustment. Now I see the lines right there. I'm just going to tap the jig over to where both lines are covered up. And then I'm going to tighten it down. Step 3, put in your next router bit and set your depth of cut. Now with our system, it does not matter if you're going to the same thickness of wood like that chest behind me, or if you're going to a different thickness of wood like most drawers. All you need to do is take the board that you cut first, set it on top of your jig. Take another board that's the same thickness, put it right beside it. Put your router bit in your router and lower that bit down till it touches that board. Just like you see that I've already done right here. Can you all see that? So now we're ready to go. Mine's actually a little bit lower because I want it to stick out. Okay? Now if you were here a few minutes ago, you see me cut that first board without looking. Well, now I'm going to do the matching board the same way. Our system is so easy, you can do it blindfolded. Now my first cut, the sawdust is going to go towards you. After that, the sawdust is coming your way. So, ladies and gentlemen, away we go. Now the way I like to do this cut is out straight, over the edge, cut. Out straight, over the edge, cut. There's some guys that like to go back and forth. And there's other guys that will go on one side and come out the other side. It really doesn't matter. But the way I do it is I go straight in, straight out, over here. Now I'm going to do one last pass to make sure I have it. And we're done. Sorry about the sawdust there.
It's fine.
Now there's 4 ways you can use our system. The router table is number 1. The vise is number 2. The third way is you can take 2 clamps and clamp the jig right to the edge of your workbench or your sawhorse. And the fourth way is you can clamp a board to the workbench or the sawhorse. Now, how many guys or gals read instruction manuals from the beginning to the end? There's one of them. God bless you. There's another one. My goodness, we got 2 in the same one. I am not one of those people. I only look at the manual if I mess up. Normally, I never look at it. But there's something in our manual that is very important, and I like to share it with you. In our manual, we tell you that if you're holding the router, never cut the last slot. Why? Well, there's nothing on the side to support your router. So if you don't have a firm grip on it, it could tilt. And we don't want you to hurt your jig, and we don't want you to get hurt. So I wanted to share that with you. So now we're going to take off our clamps, and then we're going to take off our tape. The tape was just to help prevent tear out, and it did a wonderful job. And one last tip, ladies and gentlemen, this is probably the most important one of all. If you're going to do a project where you're going to show off those beautiful dovetails, and you plan on putting a stain or finish over that wood, it's very, very important to close off those boards first. How do you do that? Well, I do it the old-fashioned way. I use sandpaper. But what I do first is if I'm using it in this position, I raise my bit a little extra. If I use it over here, I lower it a little bit extra. So when the boards come together, they stick out just a little bit. That's what we call making them proud. Then you can take some sandpaper, either by hand or with an electric sander, it doesn't matter. But if you don't do this, what happens is it soaks into those ink grains. And after a couple of years, you'll see the tips start to turn dark. And it'll work all the way through that dovetail. Okay? So now we're going to take the board that we cut earlier. We need the side that has the X. There's no X there, but there is there. We're going to line it up, and we're going to bring it together. And there you have your perfectly spaced dovetails with absolutely no measuring needed. Now this is our 4th demonstration, and every 4th demonstration we get us a new box. So we're going to line up this side, right up this side. There you have it, ladies and gentlemen. As easy as 1, 2, 3. Say, young man, would you like to take a box home? Oh, good. Now, I don't know if your dad's already told you this, but if there's ever something that sounds a little too good to be true, it usually is. Now, you're getting this box, but there's one catch. You got to put it together. When I was young, I used to like to put things together. Now that I'm old, they paid me for it. So here you go, future woodworker, that's for you. Now I need to borrow your imagination. With this small jig, I made this large chest. I want you to imagine that this board's about 20 or 30 inches wide. You've done all your cuts up to the last one. On the last one, you don't make the cut. Instead, you mark it on both sides, move it down, line it up, keep going. With our jig, you can do dovetails a mile long. To be honest with you though, this is the one place where you can make a mistake. When you're sliding that clamp over or when you're tightening it down, if that template moves even 5 thousandths, those boards will not come together. I know, I've done it. To be honest with you, this chest behind me is really supposed to be this much longer than it really is. But I can tell you, we made it with the little jig. But if you're like me and you don't like to make mistakes, I like to introduce you to the add-on. It's another jig that just adds on to either side. Now let's say you just made that big chest, but now you just want to make a little box. Well, you don't have to take your big jig apart. I never take mine apart. You take that big jig, you set it in the center. Where's the center? Right where they connect together. Take only one clamp. Tighten it just finger tight. It's going to hold that whole jig up until you get the next clamp off. Always need to use 2 clamps. Now you have 30 inches to work with. Turn it upside down, you can use it right on the router table. Now I'm going to do something that no one else at the show does, and that is ask for a testimonial. Does anybody here own our jig already? There's one, there's 2. In the back, how long you had yours? 3 years. How do you like it so far?
It does a nice job.
Thank you, sir. How long have you had yours?
1 year.
And how do you like yours so far?
I like it.
Now, folks, these are my 2 brothers. We always wait till we have a crowd. We tell you how great it is. Actually, you're not. But I do appreciate you all speaking out in front of the crowd. Now, did you get a DVD back when you got yours?
Yeah, I think so.
Do you remember? Did you get one like that?
Yep.
Okay. Well, I wanted to offer you something. I guess you have everything, so I guess all I can offer you is a little bit of candy. Grab as much as you like. Now, here you go. Teacher, Woodworker, help yourself.